the brain science behind mindfulness. So if you take your fists and put them together, that's about as big as your brain is. If you break them apart, we're going to look at the two parts of the brain, but we'll look at one half at a time. There's three important parts that I want to talk about with respect to mindfulness: your amygdala, your prefrontal cortex, and your hippocampus. Now your amygdala here, right in the middle of your one half of the brain, you've got two of them, is your most primitive part of your brain. It's your fight, flight, freeze response. And it has been around forever, and it keeps us alive. When we're walking through the forest in the cavemen days and we come across the saber-toothed tiger, this would be the part of our brain that would kick in when we went, "Ah!" And it would say, fight, got your spear, you can eat it, you can kill it, or flight, run like heck because you can't, or freeze because it hasn't seen you yet. Your hippocampus here is in charge of memories and things you've learned. So it also is the part of your brain that helps you calm down, all right? And then the other part of your brain here, the most evolved part of your brain, is your prefrontal cortex, and it's in charge of your executive function. That means it's in charge of you. It's the boss of you. It's what helps you pay attention and stay focused on something. It's your logical, rational thinking. It manages those big emotions like anger, fear, stress. It's in charge of empathy. It's also in charge of impulse control. So here's what happens when our amygdala thinks we're in a life-threatening situation, but we're really not. So let's say we're anxious because we have to do some public speaking or play a piece of music or do a dance, write an exam. This kicks in. It sends out a hormone that bathes the rest of our brain and basically shuts down the hippocampus and the prefrontal cortex and sends all our resources out to our arms, our legs, our heart, our lungs, the places that really need to act. Well, this is very unfortunate because, for example, if we're writing an exam or making a speech or playing a piece of music, we might need to access that hippocampus that has our memories and all the things we've learned in, and the place that can help calm us down. Or we might need to get to our prefrontal cortex, attention, focus, linear logical thinking, especially if we're writing an exam. Managing big emotions like fear and anxiety, the actual emotion that we're fighting against. So what happens when we say we flip our lid, basically, when we're in our amygdala, we flipped our lid and we are not connected to those other two important parts of our brain. The cool thing is, the way to reintegrate our brain is always with us. It's our breath. So simply by taking 1 or 2 deep breaths can help us reintegrate our brain and be able to use those important parts that we didn't have access to before. Mindful breathing.